Hello once again, everybody. Welcome to Soccer's Overtime, your weekly look inside the San Diego Soccers and the Major Arena Soccer League. Here it is. We are almost a half year's worth of podcasts in this season, our 25th straight week. It is season 4, episode 25 of Soccer's Overtime, our 21st straight show live right here on Twitch on our San Diego Soccers channel. A special good evening, everybody. Craig Elston, Jerry Jimenez, your Soccers podcasters, broadcasters. We are in the house for episode 25, titled Back in the Finals Again. It's just last year, Jerry, just a little over a year ago, the Soccers and Ontario Fury played in the Ron Newman Cup Finals. Now, May 2nd in Florida, May 8th back here in San Diego. We're going for back-to-back Newmans. How are you, Jerry?
I'm doing good, sir. I'm doing fantastic. What a game. Games. I told you. Games. We got there. We have a lot to talk about. What an exciting time that was on Sunday. If you weren't there, you missed out. Please feel free to go back and watch the replay on Twitch. But it's good to be back here, sir. And we get to, break it all down and do this while smiling. That's the main part of this. We're going to do this regardless. But we will have a smile on our faces as we are doing it, which makes it so much sweeter.
Well, now we also know, we've got 3 more podcasts left for our regular season, because tonight we have our Back in the Finals podcast. Next week, we will be, and I'll just say it right at the top and we'll talk about it more later. Next week, Jerry and I will be at 3 Punk Ales in Chula Vista. And stay tuned, because I think we're going to be doing it a day later on Wednesday, because the team will be traveling on Tuesday evening, getting back from Florida. However, we want to see some of your smiling faces as well as enjoy you in the chat, because we will be live at 3 Punks for a Soccers, Tropics, Ron Newman Cup Finals. What do you want to call it? Pep rally, hype festival. Let's do it. We're going to be down there. We're going to invite some of the Los Brujos out to join us. And we're going to have a fun time next week. And then, of course, the week after that, we'll be talking about the Soccers winning the Ron Newman Cup. And the week after that, we'll wrap up the season in a whole. So we've now got a strategy. We've got a game plan. We've got a roadmap. And we've got the Soccers back in the RNC Finals. This is as exciting as it gets. On tonight's show, high drama at Pechanga Arena. San Diego has to win 2, and they win 2, baby. Did Boris Pardo touch that ball?
Dun, dun, dun.
We're going to hear it from Boris himself. He didn't, by the way. Spoiler alert, he didn't. We have not one, we have 2 live guests tonight on Soccer's Overtime. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we are going to be joined live by Christian Gutierrez, El Gladiador de Oro. And Jerry's already ready. I've already sent him the questions list. I promised to cut them down from half-page questions to merely a paragraph each. And we will have Christian on for a bilingual interview. That'll be at the bottom of the hour at 5:30. And then right after Christian, we'll be joined by Felipe Gonzalez right around 5:45 as we come to you live from the West Coast on this Tuesday evening. We'll be joined by Felipe Gonzalez, who had the goal of the weekend. There's just no doubt about it. We'll talk to Felipe about getting back to the finals. We've got everything. We've got watch party info. We've got our preview. We've got BOGO deals for the finals. It's all coming up on this episode of Soccer's Overtime. Hey, special thanks to everybody who's here with us in the chat. I see we've already got a lively chat starting to flow here on Soccer's channel on Twitch. MASL fans are finding Twitch as the home of the Major Arena Soccer League. So thanks to all of you joining us. Thanks to everybody who's watching the replay on our YouTube channel at San Diego Soccers. And of course, hello to everybody who's got us in their earbuds right now, listening to the podcast, whether it be on Spotify, on iHeart, on Apple Podcasts, on Google Play. However you happen to do it, we're happy to have you here with us. Okay, Jerry, we talked about it. We broke down today's show. We're ready to get into it. Let's break down these games, man. Let's talk about 2 games in one night and the Soccers needing to take out what has looked like the oh man, I'm already taking grief in the chat, Jerry. At least I got your name right here.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Uh, yeah. Just friendly reminder. I'm Jimenez, not Martinez. No problem with the last name Martinez. I don't really mind, but you corrected yourself. You said it. You were because you were during the broadcast. And okay, so for those of you that didn't watch the broadcast, can we kind of like talk about this really quick? So
Sure.
you were talking about the Sockers kind of being all over the place and maybe trying to figure things out and not too sure of what was happening. And then you go and call me Jerry Martinez on the broadcast. You immediately are like, oh, it looks like I'm also there's something in the arena, Craig. It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, I was just matching the vibe of the club at that moment, completely out of sorts and messed up in the head. So yes, thank you, everybody who likes to keep me to task. I appreciate you, and trust me, I've got someone at home who does it way more than everyone else. So it's all good. It's all good in the hood. Okay, so Sunday, I think you and I both got up, not together. Don't get any rumors started. With great optimism on Sunday morning. I had been IMing with Leonardo de Oliveira. He was expressing some great confidence that he was going to be able to play on Sunday. Back at home, a good week of practice to iron things out. I felt like, okay, this is going to be a big, big game. And it was a big game, and it was a huge effort for the San Diego Sockers, Jerry. But they did it without Leonardo de Oliveira. Leo unavailable. And really that calf issue that came up just 2 days after the Sockers beat Milwaukee in training has kept him out. He traveled down to Chihuahua, as we're seeing those highlights from down in Chihuahua right now, but couldn't play that game, and then really thought he was going to be able to answer the bell on Sunday, Jerry. And I remember I told you I walked in just outside the locker room in kind of the training area, and I saw Paul Savage and I saw our UCSD trainers. I saw Dr. Corey Lichtman, and they all looked like the losing coaches of a basketball staff, like after you get eliminated from March Madness, hands in their pockets, chins to their chest, looking down at the ground. And I'm like, oh man, we don't have Leo, do we? And they're like, nope. We don't have Leo. So Sockers have to do it without Leo. April 24th, 5:05 kickoff. Sockers and Chihuahua Savage in the whites, Jerry, at home. Yeah. I thought that was interesting. Heard from Paul Savage after they lost in the Blues. They said, bye-bye Blues. They came out in the whites.
Okay. Hey, I'll take it. Yeah, I was also wondering what happened there, but my understanding was also not maybe that added to it, but also that Chihuahua had brought their black and red kits, and so they didn't want to be too close of a darker color, so the white would stand out more, and so they just went ahead and went with it as well. So I mean, I'm sure there was a couple of things here and there that made that decision. Hey, it worked out for us this time, so I'm just glad.
All good. Charlie Gonzalez, who of course couldn't play down in Mexico, gets the Sockers going with that first goal. He and Tavoy link up for 1-0, which came in the 13th minute of the match. And I think like when you go back through the highlights, it feels a lot easier, these matches, than they were, Jerry. These games were tenaciously defended by both teams. And of all the things I've seen this year in the Major Arena Soccer League, the thing that I saw improve the very most from the beginning of the year to the end was the Chihuahua Savage defense. By the end of the year, I think they were the second best defensive club in the entire league, second only to the San Diego Sockers. And man, with Berna and with those big athletic defenders, Ray Contreras playing his butt off last night or on Sunday night, I really felt like the Chihuahua defense was there to play all night.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, we've been talking about how much better they were since the last time that we had seen them. We didn't know what was, what we were going to be facing, especially going into this game. I mean, it's a totally different game, right? Playing in Chihuahua in such a short field, here is going to be a different ball game. And what kind of Chihuahua team were we going to get? And I think we saw the best Chihuahua team that we could have faced. I think that, they kept it so close the entire time. They came back with that 1-1, and it just, we knew right away, the first and second quarter, we knew we were going to be in for a fight, Greg.
So I really thought the key to match two, to the full game on Sunday, was the second quarter. And we're just seeing on our highlight reel here on our live Twitch channel at San Diego Soccer's the Pee Wee Ortega goal, which made it 2-0 and was 100% against the run of play in that quarter. Because for about 10 minutes, Chihuahua controlled the ball. Chihuahua pressured the goal. The Sockers couldn't get out of their zone. Sockers had, I believe, Cardenas and Gutierrez and Serta playing an over 5-minute shift in that quarter because they couldn't get off the field. They were just pinned on the field by the Savage. And for all of that to happen, and for the final second quarter tally, Jerry, to be 1-0 San Diego instead of 2-1 Chihuahua or 3-1 Chihuahua or 4-1 Chihuahua, to me, that's the difference in the full game.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with that. It was tough, and I correct myself. I said 1-1, but yeah, we were up 2-0, and then we see here in the highlights as we're watching them. I mean, we're in the third quarter, still 2-0, with 11 minutes in, right? 11 minutes left, and it was crazy. Look, now 5 minutes, and it's still 2-0, and that's what it took for Chihuahua to come in and finally break through and get that goal. What a great goal that was, too.
Indeed, and a 40-minute shutout. You're absolutely right, Jerry. For the Sockers, outstanding work. However, 2-1 was a huge goal. Almost knocked over my mic saying it. Brian Aguiar, the Monterrey import, undoubtedly back to be one of Monterrey's top strikers next year. The one touch with the left foot, his off foot, letting that ball cross over to his spot. It was an outstanding shot. And of course, Carlos Papa Hernandez follows 1 minute later to make the score 2-2. Here's the goal as we watch it with the rookie Alan Garcia, who had a very, very tough game 2 on Sunday. And that was his last time on the floor, was this goal. He wound up taking the rest of the night from the bench. And sometimes, for a 22-year-old rookie, a game can just be too big for you, no matter how talented you are and how much you have to offer the club in the future. Veterans like Papa Hernandez get the job done. I got to tell you, man, you want to rank the Chihuahua, roster and rate them, Popper's pretty high up on that rating list.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Popper is just a game changer. And I think we talked about this, Craig, too. I mean, this team, if we wanted to get on the right foot, we had to score quite a few, get a few past them right off the bat. And we just were not able to do that. So it goes to show also not just our defensive work, as you talked about, but also theirs. But man, you have to talk about their offense. It's just fantastic. And Popper is one of the leaders out there. I think Miller did fantastic as well for them throughout the entire game. I mean, you just can go through the entire list. Very similar to the Sockers, right? Where, I mean, there's just the depth is great. Their players are fantastic and they get the job done. But we have to talk about this goal right here.
Unbelievable. Felipe Gonzalez, and he'll be our special guest in about a half hour to give us his own words on this. But Jerry, I'll take this to a theme as we see one of the greatest goals of the season in the MASL, right there. A perfect cross, but the type of header that would be spectacular in outdoors. Let's be honest. That's the type of goal that would be, a pure golazo and on every highlight reel all around the world in the outdoor game. And to do it in the indoor game, it's just absolutely sick. And it leads me to the more general point that I really do think the difference on Sunday was finishing. Because if you look, Chihuahua controlled possession for the most part. Maybe it was 60-40 instead of 70-30 or something, but Chihuahua had possession. Chihuahua had chances. Chihuahua had the ball on their best striker's foot, Rios, a number of times for shots that just missed or were saved by Boris. But when it was clutch time, Felipe with a spectacular finish, and now we see the captain speak. People were in the Twitch chat calling him out of shape the minute before this goal, Jerry. Well, tell you what, old Cap still got a couple hops. Craig Childs on the back post. Perfect service, perfect service from Felipe Gonzalez. But a leaping left-footed volley into the net for the right-footed Craig Childs. Inside of the left foot to tuck it into the side netting. That is pure class. That is pure skill, Jerry. And it's those finishing moments that are the difference in this game, which becomes the difference in this series. I mean, I think 3-2, 4-2, and 5-2 were all spectacularly struck goals.
Yeah, and for those that made those comments in the chat, they clearly haven't been watching Craig Childs this season, because this is Craig Childs and has been Craig Childs, and I think that goal right there, and I mean that pass, golly, perfectly placed. Also, considering what you just mentioned, I mean, let's repeat it. It bears repeating. Right-footed Craig Childs hits it with the inside of his left foot and makes that goal. I mean, unreal.
And Christian Gutierrez, when it's sixth attacker time and when everything is pushing in the fourth quarter, a toe poke from beyond midfield makes it all the way into the net. Again, I'm talking about glorious finishing, because we have seen so many of those types of attempts go way wide, rattle out into the corner, bang off the glass and come back. And then, of course, right after that, Chihuahua was called for a penalty. They kind of lost their head. Charlie set up to Void for a goal literally seconds later. Let's see, 5-2. Yeah, 2 goals in 20 seconds for San Diego at 13-19 and 13-39 to put this game away. And I mean put this game away, Jerry, because there was a minute and 21 left. And after this goal, Chihuahua kicked off, rolled the ball to the Front Wave Credit Union sign, put it there, and everyone just walked away. I've literally never seen that before.
Yeah, I was gonna say, were they were pretty. Their minds were on the third game. Their minds were
like, let's go. On to, yes, the league calls it extra time. I call it the knockout game, because someone's going to get knocked out, and it wasn't like it was a tie game. Extra time's an outdoor phrase. Gerardo added to the roster for the extra time knockout deathmatch curb stomp team game brought to you by Applebee's. And there's Golden Gutierrez.
Jeez.
How does he watch this replay again, everyone who's with us on Twitch, because he should be stepping up into that ball. And instead, as Nate Abarea mentioned on the broadcast, he shuffled to his right. He let the ball carry across his body in order to tee up the shot. I can't even believe he found the middle of the upper V on that shot. Talk about finishing. What a finish.
How quickly he was able to adjust like that. He saw the opening and he thought, okay, I need to move this way. How fast do you have to be thinking? How quick on his feet he was to do that. I mean, what an incredible goal. And, funny story here. I was behind the net during that goal, and Brian Farber is behind me. And he came up behind me as I'm posting this video of this goal. And Brian Farber says, that is all Gerardo. That is all Gerardo Jurado right there. He's like, wow. And then he's watching, he's like, that is sick. So you had people that know what they're talking about, see this goal, and even they were like, what in the world? So yeah, it just beautifully placed. And we know that, obviously Chihuahua comes back, scores a goal pretty quickly, right after that.
Yeah, they do. And Rios, who was without question the GOAT of the playoffs for, and I don't mean greatest of all time, for Chihuahua, their leading scorer, 33 goals, had a 12-game goal streak during the year. And that goal in extra time in the knockout, shootout, deathmatch, curb stomp game was his only point of the playoffs. No goals, no assists until that moment for Rios. But now we are just seeing what was the most controversial, most discussed moment of the entire match, the leak out to Cañez and Boris Pardo's challenge, forcing him to chip. Play continued for Cesar Cerda to steal the ball at the red line and feed Brandon Escoto on the low post for a go-ahead goal at 2-1. That goal at 9:28, but seconds later, it's Luis Jaime Borrego jumping off of his bench, getting yellow carded to throw his challenge flag to go back to the Pardo challenge with the assertion that Boris Pardo had touched the ball, deliberately touched the ball with his hand well outside the box, which of course would have been a shootout, a shootout power play for the Chihuahua Savage instead of this goal for San Diego because of the situation. And we watch it again. That high angle was deeply deceptive, Jerry. But this low angle, which we're showing now, is where you can see that Boris's hands were to his side as the ball went over his head. And you look at it again and you understand those hands are out to the side of his body. The ball goes over his head. we see the slow-mo here. If the ball had touched his hands with his hands out to the side, there's absolutely no way with physics, Jerry, that the ball could continue on a straightforward path. It would have had to have deflected to the left or the right.
So did you see that? That was brilliantly done by Eddie, who edited this video together. He changed the color on it, and it immediately, you can see it. You can see his gloves, and it separates it from the ball. You can see how there's no way that he touched it. I do see in the chat a question from John. He says, but why did he have his hands up in the first place? He explains it actually afterwards, and he says something along the lines of, trying to get some air and jump as high as possible. And I think that was part of it is, when you're trying to jump up, I mean, I know I do it if I try to jump up as high as possible, my arms go up. I mean, right. I would say that's partially part of it. But yeah, Nate wouldn't back down. I went back and listened to this, Craig. You did a great job of like, but wait. But it was like the controversy of the game for sure. But there was really no controversy at all. If you really pay attention to it, he doesn't touch it.
Well, and, the director of officials, Ryan Sigich, the host of MASL Under Review, was the man who reviewed the play. And he saw it and he called it clean. And I understand. And I actually think I give a lot of credit to Nate because, there can be internalized pressure. Not that we externalize anything at all, but there can be an internalized pressure to like go with the home team on a call when you're the home team announcer. And, Nate went with the conviction of his eyes there. Now, listen, he was wrong. and it's because of a deceptive replay. It's not because like he was against the Sockers or anything. It was because the angle was deceptive. And quite frankly, with where we were in terms of our monitor and our situation, it was really hard for us to see the low angle replay as definitively as we are seeing it now with the, with time and hours and all the chances to see it and color changes and everything else. So, I would just say to the folks who are trying to drop some hate Nate's way in the chat to back off. Nate's been here since 2016. Nate's an incredible dude. Now listen, he wouldn't listen to me on Sunday, but I'd like you to listen to me and pick up his book of poetry because it's absolutely outstanding. Right there, you can see it. Backroads and Borderlines. I know you've purchased one as well, yes. Jerry. So, Nate's a personality, and Nate is also a reporter, and he was telling you what he thought. So, we worked it out. We're broadcast partners. We figured it all out together for the benefit of the club. And as I said to him, I was very happy that the replay doesn't have any audio in it. In other words, that we weren't able to get in Sigich's ear. So I'm like, you might have influenced him, dude. Thank goodness you weren't down there on the replay.
Yeah, seriously. But that that third goal, Craig, I was gonna say, we already watched it here on the replay, and we can't talk. We can't just pass over it. We have to talk about the fact that, like, the follow through, for Rojo to stick with it, and again, Golden Gutierrez on that, just continuing following through, not falling down, seeing an open space, and Rojo not allowing the Chihuahua player who had the ball on the floor, allowing him to get up, but sticking with it, and then following through and putting the ball in the back of the net, bringing it to 3-1. And then we have the celebration, which I think cost this that we're watching right now, which is a bit of a break in the match and a little bit of a argument there.
Yeah, well, Sockers punched their ticket to the finals with what's been their most elite secondary weapon all year, the TJ counter. Christian Gutierrez and Juan Manuel Rojo at the end of games on counterattacks, breaking down against sixth attackers, using their speed to fly down the field. Gutierrez, the most athletic player in the league, and he gets these jobs done. He makes big defensive moments. He finds space for himself. He gets his partner Rojo out on the run. Rojo loves to finish these things. We've seen Rojo finish a setup Gutierrez. We've seen Gutierrez set up Rojo. It works either way. But I just thought it was so incredibly appropriate that what is the thing that propels the Sockers to the finals when all is said and done? It's TJ counter. It's that one play that we've probably seen 24 times this year.
We need a TJ counter t-shirt. I would rock that. Oh my goodness.
TJ absolutely need a TJ Counter t-shirt.
I'm working on that. I am going to work on that. But yeah, you're absolutely correct, Rick. I think that has, that partnership between Rojo and Gutierrez has just made such a difference in everything. I mean, they're clutch. I think that's the best word for me to describe that. Like, they're just clutch in the moments they're most needed. They're there. They make it happen. And boy, did they make it happen this game when we really needed them. So, yeah.
Before we get to our guests, we've got some post-game sound and some post-game reaction. And let's start by going to the goalkeeper of the year, Boris Parno. I asked him the question that night that was on everybody's mind.
Did you touch the ball?
Did not touch the ball. I just went, I challenged him, kept my head up, and forced him to hit it as high as possible to buy us time. I knew that as the ball went, he's got long legs, so I didn't think that he was going to touch it down. So that's why I just went, jumped, forced him to play up, and obviously our defenders were recovering. That was a bad change, I believe, and he was wide open on that one. It was maybe if I jumped on it a second earlier, I probably would have got there, but I mean, it worked out, so I didn't touch it.
Easy enough. It was reviewed.
Yeah, right there you were saying, easy enough. It was reviewed, and that was really quickly, by the way. The decision didn't take very long for them, so you knew that it was clear that he did not touch it. So, I mean, I'm almost tired of talking about that, but
well, I mean, look, we put it to bed. We put it to bed, and I appreciate. I might have something else to say about replay a little later in the show, but I appreciate that replay definitively got that right. Did not allow for the league to be mired in a fake controversy over the course of that, today and for days to come, when people go, oh, I think he touched it, and that there's a lot of folks out there who'd be super happy to jump on that narrative and run with it. And instead it was definitively shown. We put it up on the Soccer's social channels yesterday, the slow-mo, the freeze frame of the replay. David Furker, who was the photographer there, put together 10 still frames into a GIF to show. I mean, it's definitive. Boris didn't touch the ball. So, I appreciate everyone, who was griping about it, but Boris didn't touch the ball. So Boris made a great play is what he did. He made a bold, daring play to jump out, to challenge, to come out that high. And as he said, as you just heard him say, to force Cañez to lift the ball instead of shooting the ball. Because if he shoots the ball, he's going to score. But if he lifts the ball, Guerrero Pino is trucking in and was able to get there and pin the ball down. Here's the other thing I want to talk about before we get to our guests. Los Brujos de 78. Because Section 19 was thumping in a way that we've never heard before, and that the sport of indoor soccer has never heard before on Sunday night. And it started minute 1 and it continued right through the knockout game. And Berna Valdivinos and the Savage were so frustrated with Section 19 that when they won the coin toss for the knockout game, the decision they decided to have was which goal to defend, so that they would defend the eastern goal so that Berna wouldn't have the Brujos behind him and in his ears. I mean, that's how much influence Los Brujos de 78, with a lot of help from a lot of members of the locals supporter group that were there as well, the impact they had on the match. We asked Brandon Escoto, Churras, and Phil Silvaggio, head coach of the Soccers, about the impact of Los Brujos. Let's hear what Churras had to say.
Los aficionados, la porra y pues claro, toda la gente que vino a ver el juego, ¿cómo afectó al juego y cómo se sintieron tener el apoyo de todos los aficionados?
Es algo increíble ver la arena completamente llena de la parte de abajo y ver que están todos metidos en el juego, como está el equipo igual unido y metido en el juego, y celebrar los goles y ver que te apoyan y ver que te están motivando. También es un extra para nosotros para dejar todo dentro del campo.
So what he says right there is that, that it's amazing to see just the entire arena filled and how everybody was in the game, the way that the players were in the game, that it's an extra motivation always for the players, and that it makes a big difference and makes you want to leave it all on the field even more. So, yeah, I mean, it makes a big difference. And Section 19 was just it was amazing. But you have to give credit to the entire arena. I mean, the entire arena was following along and doing what Section 19 was doing as well, and just really into the game. It was such. I don't think I've ever felt that in the arena before. And to be fair, I'm newer also to the team, but my goodness, Craig, I was so impressed and so happy.
Let's hear also from Phil Salvaggio. One more quote as our guests start to line up, because Phil even had a slightly different take in terms of how the Los Brujos make the emotion so high that you almost need to calm down.
19. It was filled with supporters tonight. It was filled with drums. It was filled with chants. What did you think their impact was on tonight's results?
Oh, what an electric atmosphere! It was fantastic. We had to tell the bench to keep emotions down because we didn't want to get too emotional because the crowd was too into it. It's too loud. It was goosebumps all over.
Phil, good luck in the final.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
I mean, it just gets me so excited because, Jerry, you know how hard we've worked to try and create this, and I saw in the chat as well. Anyone who was a member of the Deep End that was out there and a part of what's happening in Section 19, double tip of the cap to you, because we've had to change over, supporter culture, and we loved the Deep End, and the Deep End decided to go a different direction. And I don't know if that was every individual's decision or if it was a collective decision or what, but all we care about is having that energy. And, I just can't say enough about Adrian and about all of our friends in Chavos de Loyal who have created the Los Brujos supporters group for Sockers. I think this was something that you and I talked about, Jerry, all the way back to the summer and the fall in terms of our dreams, our dreams and our hopes and our ambitions for what the atmosphere could be for a playoff game. And I have to say to the audience, to you and to everybody, this is it. This is what we were hoping for. We were hoping for this.
If I can add to that, for anybody listening that is maybe considering going over to Section 19 during a game, do it. The thing is that it's in its infancy stages, Craig. This kind of community building and building something as powerful as a supporters group, it takes time, right? And we've seen it slowly but surely get to where we are now. That does not mean that's where it needs to stop. And that's what gives me chills, because this is only the beginning. Imagine what we can continue to do if we have everybody on board on the same page supporting the Sockers. I mean, it's going to just really, it's going to make the waves around the league and hopefully push other people to start a group and start making the league itself better. And I think that supporters just in general do that. They add to the atmosphere, they add to the experience, and it makes more people want to come. And that's what we're trying to do here, is grow the sport, grow the league, grow the team, and just continue to be successful and enjoy a night out with the family. And man, what a great example that was on Sunday.
It was incredible. It was everything we'd hoped for. I loved seeing in the chat, you say dreams do come true. I mean, they do, and Jerry knows better than anybody else the nights that we've shared beers and commiserations and, said, what are we going to do? How are we going to make this thing click? Is it going to click? Is it even possible? And so to see where we are and to know what could still be, I'm going to say that too, to know what could still be on May 8th and how it can even maybe notch up another level when you get the ultimate bonding moment, which is to be there to celebrate a championship together in your home arena. There's nothing better than that. And let's hope that it is truly a moment that forges a supporters group that will stay together for years and years and years to come. All right, we're just a little bit past the bottom of the hour, and we've got our first of two special guests lined up. I am so excited for this, Jerry, to bring on this man who has spent, I believe now, 5 seasons with the San Diego Sockers, but last year he broke out in the playoffs. He earned his nickname, Golden Gutierrez, the hero of the playoffs, and he is right back doing hero things once again and booking a return trip to the Ron Newman Cup Finals. Joining us for a bilingual interview with our dear co-host and translator, Jerry Jimenez, standing by, we welcome El Gladiador de Oro, Christian Gutierrez. making his Soccer's Overtime bilingual debut here in the playoffs. Cristian, muchas gracias por tu tiempo.
¿Qué tal, Bray? No, gracias a ustedes por la invitación.
Ok, yo voy a traducir lo que él pregunte y así vamos, ¿ok?
Ok.
Listo. Ready.
Very good. All right. So I even gave you the questions, Jerry. So we'll be all set. I'm gonna keep it straight, okay? Christian, how did the team get ready on Sunday for the challenge to play and have to beat Chihuahua twice in one night?
Cristian, ¿en qué forma se preparó el equipo para poder ganarle a Chihuahua no solamente una vez, sino 2 veces en una noche?
Sí, creo que el equipo después de haber perdido allá en Chihuahua el lunes, pues sí, estaba un poco dolido porque pues siempre afecta perder. Veníamos de muchos partidos sin perder, pero creo que el equipo no estaba confiado, pero tenía la confianza de poder sacar las 2 victorias aquí en casa por los resultados que hayamos tenido contra ellos en la temporada y pues gracias a Dios así se dio, pues pudimos ganar el juego y el minigame, pues gracias a Dios también se dio a nuestro favor.
Yeah, he's saying that that it was difficult, that they did have to go back into training and just work hard, but that coming in from a loss away that they weren't used to, right? After having won so many games, that it's not a simple thing to do, but that they, luckily it worked out in our favor that we're able to win both games. But that it wasn't an easy thing, that they have to just fight through it and forget about it and think about it now. So
you've been teammates on WMF World Cup before with many of the players on Chihuahua. You know many of them. What made Chihuahua such a good team, such a tough opponent?
Dice que pues has sido compañero de equipo con algunos de estos jugadores de Savage, y ¿qué es lo que hace que el equipo de Chihuahua sea un equipo tan bueno, tan difícil de jugar contra ellos?
Sí, pues he estado con ellos en la selección y pues jugadores de mucha calidad y pues ahí se vio, pues no por nada llegaron a una semifinal en la liga que pues habiendo otros equipos también pues muy buenos, ahí ellos estuvieron en su primer temporada, pero pues como te digo, pues no sé si desgraciadamente o no sé, pues nos tocó enfrentarnos en estas instancias de semifinal, que muchos decían que era la final adelantada, pero pues ahora sí que pues nosotros, pues la amistad se queda afuera y en el campo es otra cosa y ya la amistad pues ya saliendo del campo pues vuelve, pero pues en el campo tienes que defender a tu equipo.
Yeah, he was saying that, that he was, teammates with them in the national team, but that, he believes that just there's so many good players in that team that obviously makes it very difficult. He said that he heard from many people that this was the kind of, excuse me, the final that should have been, right? That this was the 2 teams that should have been in the final. And that he said, unfortunately or fortunately, it ended up this way, and it again luckily ended up going our way, but that it was definitely a difficult time, and that he's again glad that it ended the way that it did.
Let's go through Sunday and begin with the full game. What were your thoughts on the 6-2 victory, the full game victory over Chihuahua Sunday?
Ya dividiendo los 2 partidos, ¿verdad? ¿Cuáles son tus pensamientos en cuanto al el primer juego contra Chihuahua, el 6-2?
Pues creo que nosotros traíamos la mentalidad, pues sabíamos que iba a ser un juego largo porque teníamos que ganar ese juego para poder forzar el minigame. Y creo que desde que nosotros llegamos al vestidor, porque nos citan como 2 horas antes, traíamos la concentración a tope, pues de que pues teníamos que ganar y pues ahí se vio, pues en el juego creo que estábamos muy concentrados y creo que eso fue factor, nomás la concentración y ya pues el talento, creo que individualmente pues cada quien iba a salir, iba a hacer sus cosas y pues gracias a Dios se dio el resultado del 6-2.
Yeah, he's saying that right off the bat. He's saying they were, they get called in 2 hours before the game starts, and that immediately you can feel it in the locker room that everybody was just concentrated on, the task at hand. They wanted to come in and really, make a statement, that they felt that he feels the mentality has a big part to do in the 6-2 win, and that they just had to push through it, and then to force an extra time. They knew it was going to be a long night. They knew it was going to be a long game, and they wanted it to be so that they could, force that third game. So they just did what they had to do and push forward on that one. And he did say though that he believes the individual player skills came through on that 6-2 game. That was very important that everybody was on their game and that our talent as a team showed.
How tough is it physically, mentally, emotionally to have just 15 minutes to get ready for the knockout game?
Qué difícil es mentalmente tener solo 15 minutos para prepararte para el juego de knockout, el minigame.
Pues sí, es un poco difícil porque sales con la emoción de que ya ganaste el primer juego, pero sabes que aún no has ganado nada porque pues en 15 minutos, pues ahora sí que ellos pueden salir un poco más motivados que tú o un error o algo así te pueden dejar fuera, pero pues sabíamos que era muy importante el primer gol, pues que nosotros empezáramos ganando y ya de ahí partir y lo bueno que así fue, aunque los empataron rápido, pero creo que supimos reponernos y volvimos a tomar ventaja del 2-1, pero como te digo, el equipo tenía mucha confianza en que aquí en casa podíamos sacar las 2 victorias y pues se vio en el juego y pues ahora sí que gracias a Dios pues estamos en la final.
Yeah, he's saying that it's not easy at all. Only have 15 minutes to go from winning a game, feeling like you won that game, and then having to switch to, okay, we have another one to win because you haven't won anything yet. And so having to switch that mentality within 15 minutes is not an easy thing to do. They knew that they have to come through. He's saying that, there's worries, right? You start thinking about, well, what if Chihuahua comes out more motivated than we are? And so you have to kind of just get yourself there really fast. They knew that they wanted to score first to get things going. They, did that, but then were tired very quickly. And so here again, there has to be another mental shift and to just push through. And again, thanks to God that they were able to get that win.
Well, let's talk about that first goal because you were right. It did matter to score first, and it looked like the pass from Jurado was going to be a little bit wide of you, that you might have to take a different touch. Tell us about that goal, your decision making to set up for that goal.
Sí, la mentalidad sí tuvo mucho que ver, claro, y una de las cosas que pues vimos es el pase de Jurado y tener que ajustar. ¿Cómo viste ese pase y qué estaba pasando por tu mente cuando te dio ese pase para meter el gol?
Sí, pues creo que esa jugada la empezamos recuperando la bola con Mitchell y luego, de hecho yo se la paso a él y creo que él jaló bien la marca, se fueron 3 con él y supo qué hacer con el balón y me la puso y pues yo sabía que pues ahora sí que en esas instancias no tiene muchas oportunidades de gol, pues y por lo que hice fue pegarle, pues ahora sí que pues gracias a Dios se metió y pues como te digo, pues ya en ese momento no sabes ni qué hacer, pero pues lo bueno que él supo también, no sé, tomar una buena decisión y pasármela y pues como te digo, pues ya pues se dio el gol y pues nos fuimos adelante.
Yeah, he's saying that, he did a great job in basically pulling the players towards him. So he had 3 on him that initially, he says, if he remembers correctly, Mitchell recovered, was given the ball to Gutierrez. Gutierrez ended up giving the ball to Gerardo Jurado, where he was able to then create a space and pull the players towards him, open up some space from him. And he said when he got the ball, honestly, he just took a shot. He wasn't really thinking. It's just that he knows that there isn't a lot of time to think. There's not a lot of space, so he had to just take the shot. And just from the way that he's answering, I can tell you that he was just praying to the gods that it was going to go in. And he said that he feels lucky that it had gone in again.
Increíble. At the end of the game, when everything's on the line, how confident, how excited are you to have what we call the TJ counter with yourself and Rojo able to burst and counterattack at the end of games?
Dice, hablamos mucho sobre el TJ counter que viene siendo tú y Juan Manuel Rojo. ¿Cómo se siente y qué confianza tienes con él, pues jugando así en equipo a los dos?
Sí, pues ya tengo rato conociéndole, pero sabemos que pues estamos defendiendo, pero creo que estamos contragolpeando bien, pues creo que tanto él como yo tenemos buena velocidad y normalmente los equipos no son muy rápidos a la hora de defender, pues, y siento que ahí sacamos ventaja, ya sea en sexto atacante o cuando estamos defendiendo, porque es un poco difícil cambiar el chip de estar atacando a defender y creo que lo estamos aprovechando bien, pues en lugar de que sea una desventaja estar defendiendo, creo que podemos aguantar un poco defendiendo y a la hora del contragolpe, pues sabemos que pues los dos vamos a correr y podemos tener ocasiones de gol.
Yeah, so they're actually, obviously he said that they've known each other for a while, but more so they've noticed that not only are they both very fast and can get up pretty quickly, but that other teams are not very great at defending the counter. And so they take advantage every chance that they get. That they both know if they're on the field, they're going to counter. That it's not an easy thing to shift from attacking to defending. And so they take full advantage of that, and they know each other really well. They know that one or the other is going to be up top, and so that they're going to have each other in these instances. So that they've really come to figure that out pretty well and are able to take full advantage of that.
Christian, I want to get your thoughts on Los Brujos de 78, the supporters section. What impact do you think they had on the matches on Sunday?
Los Brujos del 78 viene siendo la nueva porra de los Stalkers. Nos gustaría saber cómo te sientes en tener el apoyo, no solo de la porra, sino también pues de el resto de la arena.
Sí, la verdad que es muy importante contar con el apoyo, como dices, no solo de la porra, sino de toda la afición que este domingo la verdad sí lo sentimos bastante, pues desde que entramos, desde que estamos calentando, la gente siempre te apoyó y la verdad sí estamos haciendo pesar la casa porque la temporada pasada que quedamos campeones, pues no tuvimos chance de jugar aquí de local, pues y siento que sí somos un poco más fuertes aquí de local y sí pesa, pues, y la verdad que sí es muy importante que la gente vaya este 8 de mayo a apoyarnos porque así como nosotros jugamos, ellos también juegan su papel apoyándonos y gritando, y ya sea con las bubucelas y todo, pero sí imponen un poco o sí imponen mucho al rival contrario.
Yeah, I switched up your question just a little bit to include the rest of the arena, but he did mention just that it's so important to have them because they play such a big role in not only is the team playing, but they're also playing their part. The fans are, whether it's with the vuvuzelas or just the noisemakers, that it's definitely affects the opponent. And he's saying that recently because of that and because of the fan support, he said during the warm-ups they were already feeling it, and the house is starting to weigh heavy, is what he's saying, and to translate it kind of easily, but basically saying that when they play at home, it's a totally different ballgame for anybody coming in because of that support. That it is so much better to play at home now because of that. It weighs heavy and makes it way difficult on the opposing team when they come in and play. So it's very important for people to show up on May 8th. He wants everybody there to continue doing their part, and he's saying that they will do their part as well.
Incredible. I mean, kind of as a follow-up to that, the Sockers won on the road, the championship last year. How special is it that you get to fight for it at home?
¿Qué especial se siente y cómo, o sea, cuál es la mentalidad también de pues, saber que esta vez la final se va a jugar en casa?
Sí, la verdad que sí es algo especial porque, como te digo, muchos de nosotros que somos mexicanos no tuvimos la oportunidad la temporada pasada de que tu familia estuviera acá, pues porque pues, estaban cerradas las fronteras y todo eso. Y pues ahora sí es algo especial porque conocidos, amigos, tu familia, pues van a estar apoyándote, pues, y más que nada que la final será acá en casa. Ahora sí que de nuestra parte, pues sería nomás pues ir a Florida y ganar, y pues ahora sí que aquí en San Diego ganar y no forzar el juego al minigame, porque la verdad sí es un poco desgastante, pues ganar un juego y luego tener que ganar el minigame, pues.
Yeah, he's saying that they need to do that, and I'll kind of go back in the way that he answered it, but the important part right now is that on their part they want to go to Florida and win it. They don't want to have to play a mini game. They're going to Florida with the complete mentality of winning because it does wear on you physically and mentally, and so coming home with what will hopefully be a win, it's going to mean everything to them because what he's saying is that last season they couldn't have family members cross. The border was closed, so they couldn't have family there in the stands to share the night with them or anything like that. And so this time, especially being able to do it at home means that much more. It adds to them wanting to finish the right way and getting it done.
La última pregunta. Thinking about Florida, what are your thoughts on the challenge of taking on the Tropics here?
Ya con la última pregunta, ¿cuáles son tus pensamientos pues tener que enfrentarse contra el equipo de Florida?
Sí, pues el pensamiento es el mismo, pues que contra Chihuahua nosotros tenemos que ahora sí que preocuparnos por nosotros y no tanto por el rival. Es importante pues fijarnos en qué hicimos mal nosotros para que no nos pase esos errores, pero pues es un equipo difícil también porque la temporada pasada llegó hasta semifinales y nos tocó en contra y creo que ellos ahora sí que, quieras o no, pues es como una revancha para ellos y nosotros igual, pues de demostrar por qué quedamos en primer lugar de toda la liga y pues prepararnos ahora sí que, pues igual que siempre, que en todos los juegos que hemos encarado pues con mucha seriedad, pero ahora sí hay un poco más de presión porque es una final, pero pues trataremos de hacer las cosas de la mejor manera para que pues el campeonato se quede aquí en San Diego otra vez.
Yeah, he's saying that it's going to be the same mentality as going against Chihuahua, which is to do our game and concentrate on what they feel they need to work on rather than, just looking at the opposing team. We're going to find, try to fix some things and make sure that we don't make those same mistakes and face them exactly the same way. Obviously, Florida made it last year into the playoffs, so we knocked them off. So in a way, they're looking for revenge. So they know that they're going to come with that mentality, and they just have to, do what we have to do and bring it home and get the last 2 wins.
Pues, amigo, muchas gracias, muchas felicitaciones, buena suerte en la postemporada y el viaje a Florida, y gracias para tu tiempo, te agradezco.
Muchas gracias.
No, gracias a ti, Craig, y gracias por la invitación y esperemos venir con un resultado positivo de allá de Florida.
Yeah, he's saying hopefully thank you, and hopefully, they will be coming with a positive result from Florida. Muchas gracias, Cristian. Nos vemos pronto.
Dale, gracias.
Cristian Gutierrez, el gladiador de oro, siempre el gladiador de oro, the golden gladiator. Oh, man, what a difference he's been the last 2 years. I mean, if you really think about, like, what's the one separating factor between a soccer team that was a short season, small sample losing team in 2021 and winning the Ron Newman Cup playoffs and then 23-0-1 and being the number 1 seed, I think it's the outgrowth of Cristian Gutierrez, one of the best players in the league. Another of what, a half dozen shocking omissions for the Sockers in terms of all league honors, but you can't honor everybody. I get that, but I think Gutierrez is truly one of the best players in the league. And if he was just a solo stat hunter on some below 500 third place club, guaranteed he'd have the 50 points necessary to get himself an all league award instead of being an afterthought. But he's part of a winning team contributing to victories and championships. And as such, of course, he cannot be honored as being a great player by our league, which is backwards and only looks at stats. But pardon me, I just got off on a little bit of a rant.
You know what, though? Here is how you acknowledge the greatness of these individual players. This is how you do it. You come out May 8th.
Yes.
Let them hear it. When they hoist that cup for the second time in as many years, right? Like, that is how you show them that they are the best players. That is way more important to them than any sort of award. As much as I'm sure that's an added bonus, and they all honestly deserve it. I mean, be there May 8th and show them how much they actually mean. That's how you do it.
Absolutely. And I appreciate everybody in the chat chiming in as well. Yeah. Hey, I didn't even put it in the menu, but as we wait for Felipe to join us, soccer's got 2 people on the Elite Six, the first team all league. And that was, of course, Tavoy and Boris. And that's it. That's all the soccer's got. No Cardenas, no Pino, no Serta, no Leo, no Churtis, no Charlie, no Giles. What's going on here?
Well, listen, Craig, though, these are all very deserving players as well. All right. So, we cannot diminish the rest of the players. So Ian Bennett, fantastic. Victor Pereiras, Robert Palmer, and Chad Vandergriff. I mean, these are all fantastic players. And like you said, we can't just have the entire. Truly, that's how it should have been, right? The Elite Six should have been all Soccers, but I mean, come on, you can't do that. It's unfair.
I mean, I would have gone 5 Soccers in Bennett. That's what I would have done.
That's fair.
That's literally what I did. That's the ballot I actually filled out because I had a ballot to fill out, and I had five Soccers in Bennett. But hey, it is what it is. I think Boris Pardo is going to be the goalkeeper of the year. I think Bennett's going to win MVP. And I'm just super, super disappointed that a Soccer isn't up for Defender of the Year because it's just, I'm sorry. That's the one thing. And listen, it's not a diss to Robert Palmer. Robert Palmer's a good player. Chad Vandergrift's a very good player. They are good players. The guys they put on the second team are good players, but I'm not sure they'd make our team.
No,
I'm sorry. I'm not sure they'd make our team. And we've got 4 defenders better than any other defender in the league. That is my opinion. Okay. I'm a biased guy, but I believe I would take our top 4 defenders over almost anyone else in the league. I think there's a handful of guys that could live up to that, but not many that are better.
Well, and then here's the other guy that I would argue absolutely belongs in the Elite Six. But hey, he also did receive. Oh, here it is. He did receive the Passmaster Award. That's the thing.
Well, because he earned it, because the pass masters, whoever leads the league in assists, they couldn't diss him because he led the league in assists.
So there you go. But he earned it, and he got it.
Did. They were like, could we give this to the 5th place assist guy? But they said, oh no, we have to go with the leader.
We have many Soccers in the Elite Six. Can we get? Of course not.
It's wild. And listen, no, there's plenty of other good players in the league, and I get that the league wants to spread it around. On the defensive side, that's what really killed me. I'm like, the Soccers have the best defense in the league. The Soccers were the only team that didn't allow 100 goals in the entire league. But according to the league awards, there are 4 defenders that would be starting for the Soccers over the Soccers 4 defenders, because those must be the 4 best defenders, because they're the 4 defenders in the top 12. Well, I'm sorry. That's backwards. But look, it doesn't matter. Like you said, the cup is the only thing that matters. We've had Christian Gutierrez on. Hey, I want to just say for everybody who maybe tuned in to the Twitch game on MASL Soccer on Sunday and then said, oh, I will bookmark San Diego Soccers. I will come check out Soccers Overtime. Thank you. Thank you for being a first-time viewer here. I'm seeing some really cool comments in the chat that show me that we've got some new listeners, some new viewers today, and we appreciate you all. We'll be right back here Tuesday at 5:00. We hope you enjoy the show. All right, it's time for our second special guest. We don't normally do this. We must be in the finals or something. Something's going on. We're excited because we've got 2 special guests live on the same day. This is one of the only players, Jerry, that when I was coming down from my broadcast perch, I'm like, I've got to talk to, and I just never didn't see him. I think I saw him one time out of the shower. That was it. So I wasn't going to talk to him because he was naked. So let's bring him on. Let's all talk to the great Felipe Gonzalez, who joins us now live on Soccer's Overtime with Greg and Jerry. Felipe, a real pleasure, my friend. How are you?
Good, Craig. How you doing, Jerry? How you doing? How's everything, man?
Good.
Happy to be on.
Felipe, you've been here for all of this. The Mexico in the semifinals speed bump for the San Diego Soccers. 4 times, whether it was Sonora or Monterrey, Luis Jaime Borrego led a side that defeated the San Diego Soccers 1 step short of the finals. Is it a monkey off your back? Do you feel it getting over that speed bump here?
Absolutely. I think we all know that Mexico's always bringing great teams. They always put together great teams. And it's usually a big bump on the road, but we were able to overcome it this year, and I think it was just the hard work that the guys put in, and then we were excited. We were excited to get over that hump, not just as a team, as the organization, and then when we're good to go. We're happy to be on the championship.
Listen, Felipe, this is the one thing that I'm very excited to hear kind of your thoughts. What was going through your head? That game 2, that goal to make it 3-2, right? I mean, we've been talking about it. It's been the talk of the town right now. It's all over the place. Everybody's just, wow, how did he manage that? Like, what is going through your mind on a play like that, man? Because that, Craig said it earlier on the podcast. That's something that's even impressive in outdoor. Indoor, I think even makes it that much more impressive. So, like, what were your thoughts? And then, how do you feel about it now, looking back at it?
I'll be honest. At the moment, my thought process was not that the ball's gonna come directly to my hand. I'm thinking the ball's probably gonna come on the ground, and I had a different thought process before that. Like I told Phil and I told Kirk Childs, I was thinking the ball was gonna come on the ground, and I was gonna dummy it because I had already seen Craig Childs behind me, so I felt like he was in a better position to make contact with the ball. But as soon as the ball came up in the air, my only reaction was, just change the direction on it and hope for the best. So I did that. I mean, I had no other option than, check to the ball. The ball came up. I changed the direction of the ball, and I'll be honest, I did not know the ball went in until I heard the people yelling. Because if you see the video, when I heard the ball, I'm falling forward, and the last thing I saw was just the ball going away from me, and that's it. So I went based on the reaction of the people in the stadium, and I was obviously ecstatic and happy about it. So that's kind of how I ran it through my head, I guess you can say.
Golasso was plan B, Felipe. You were just going to do another one of your classic unstatistically verifiable plays of dummying the ball to help somebody else score. Instead, you got a goal.
Yes. And it's just one of those plays, trying to be at the right place at the right time. Regardless, I think, Sean played a great ball. Whether it was up in the air or on the ground, it was a great ball. And I just, all I did was, like I said, change the direction of the ball. And to be honest, I don't think Bednar was expecting that. I honestly think he was expecting a pass on the ground as well. And for me to deflect it that way and change the direction, totally caught him off guard. But but it was exciting. It was fun, and it was something that motivated me a little more, especially hearing the crowd go wild, and especially coming back after a blue card. That was rough. It was and we all know that was a reckless tackle on my behalf, and I knew that. I got up and walked straight out. I knew that what I did was just plain reckless. So I had to get myself together and somehow make an impact. I wasn't thinking, okay, make a goal, but somehow make an impact on the field. And what better way than to actually score a goal?
I just posted one of the comments in the chat from EC Money saying, did he learn that celebration from Tavoy? I'm telling EC Money hasn't been watching Felipe his whole career, because you were doing salsa dances for the legends against us, Corey.
Yes, I've been doing this since like 2012, 2013 when I played for Las Vegas Legends. If anything, I'm going to have to teach Tavoy how to do that, because I don't think he can do that stuff. Even though he's a good dancer, I'm not going to take that away from him. But Craig, I've had that in my pocket for a long, long time, and sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. But I've been doing it for quite a while now.
I'm really good at reading lips, just so you know. Sorry, and I could tell you how happy I was, because I was like, yes, he is enjoying this so much. I read your lips, I was like, yes, and then you went into the dance. Oh, best celebration. But Tavoy doesn't do cumbias. Okay, there's a different step. So Felipe does cumbias for everybody that's listening. Y'all just, want to make sure we make that, clear. Craig, go ahead. Sorry.
Felipe, you've been playing with Craig Childs for a long time, and I wanted to ask you about that assist for 4-2, because, I mean, we discussed it in the highlight segment. It's an inch perfect assist, but I mean, Craig Childs finishing with a leaping inside of his left foot volley. That's not exactly at the front page of the playbook.
No. You know what? I honestly thought I overplayed that, and it kind of went a little too far. But it seems like, I think Childs being Childs and being the finisher that he is and being the striker that he is, and he has been for years, he's not the franchise that he scored for no reason. He's going to go ahead and adapt and put the ball behind the net, whatever it takes. And he did it great. I feel like I've always had that connection in a sense with Childs, where it comes to, he's the type of player that if the play is on quickly, and he wants the ball right away. There's no need to take an extra touch or try and take a guy on. And I feel like I've always seen that. I feel like I'm the type of player where if I see him early, I'm going to play him right away, because that's what he wants. But I think it was just an overall mistake from the Chihuahua team. If you see, they were running around left and right, not knowing who to mark, basically saying, you mark him, I got him. And Mitchell was smart enough, because he's a smart defender. He was smart enough and not quick enough. Let me play Felipe right away because I was right open, and I said my only option here is to play the ball over the top. I think it was Miller, if I'm not mistaken, who was marking Kirk Childs, and Kirk Childs did a great job putting it away and went right over Bernardo's shoulder, and it was a great goal, great finish, great goal, and it was a great team play.
One of the things that we continue to ask, and I think it bears repeating over and over and over, is what a difference the home atmosphere makes for you as a player, and obviously for the whole experience as a whole. And what a special game this was on Sunday, right? How did that feel to you, man? What are your thoughts on the home atmosphere playing at home?
It's great. I think I am going to go ahead and answer on behalf of every player and anybody that's ever played. Having the crowd behind you is great. It's that extra boost. It's that extra motivation. It's that extra push where if you're exhausted and you say, I got to push through. Your legs might be telling you no, but in your mind, it's like, no, you're not tired. You got to push through. You got to pull through for yourself, for the team, but also for the fans who are here to help you out and cheer you on more than anything. We're here to win games. We're here to give our all, but we're also here to give a show, and we're here to give our fans a great show, and at the end of the day, they make it a great atmosphere. We love it because, at home, it weighs on teams. It really does, just to hear the crowd being that loud. And I think that was probably the best crowd we had all season. And I'm glad it was against Chihuahua and it was in the semifinal match because we needed that. We needed that extra push, and those extra seats that were empty before, we needed them to be filled up, to be quite honest with you. But it's great. I think having the fans behind you is always motivational. And so we love it. We love it. And we welcome everybody. We want to invite everybody to come out on May 8th and cheer us on. We would love to fill up the arena and make it that more exciting.
Just got a couple more for you, Felipe, but we got a great question in our chat here from Toy Runner, who asks, Felipe, when playing on a small field like Chihuahua, how does the playing style differ against a large field at home?
Movement wise, I think because the field is so much smaller, your movements got to be that much quicker. In a sense to where if you're checking in for the ball, sometimes, when I'm checking into the ball from playing at Pechanga Arena, when I'm checking into the ball from the middle, obviously my distance is greater. But you don't always have to check in as fast because he has more time on the ball, depending if it's a defender or the goalie, let's say Boris. Right? On a small field like Chihuahua, your movements got to be quicker and sharper, just because you kind of got to be thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead already because of how much smaller the field is. If you're already thinking 1 step ahead on a big field like Pechanga Arena, or feel like the one in Chihuahua, you got to be 2 or 3 steps ahead, and you got to be able to play with the pressure more than anything. But it does make a huge difference. I feel like a lot of the runs are shorter but quicker. You're running 6, 7, 8 yards this way to cover space, 6, 7, 8 yards that way to cover here, that side, or maybe 10 yards, compared to the bigger arena. But it can change your style of play a little bit just because you may have a certain strategy and it might just go out the window sometimes. And at the end of the day, it might just be playing out of heart and playing what you've always done your whole life, play soccer, enjoy it, and kind of go from there, so.
Wild stuff. Last thing, buddy. Let's look ahead now. You guys are in the middle of it. Don't give up the state secrets. Obviously, don't open up the playbook for the audience. But it's Tropics. It's the number 2 team in the league. It's the other highest scoring team in the league. Incredible attack. Carvalho, Dieguez, Pereiras. You can go down the list. They've got talent. They've got bite with players like Bond, like Teixeira. How do you see this series? How do you see it in terms of a challenge? How are you guys breaking it down?
It's going to be a great challenge, I think. We all know they're the number 2 seed in the league, and they're there for a reason. They were number 1 seed. They were number 1 seed last year, right, when we beat them. And like I said, it's been a team that's been up and coming for the last 3 years. So every year they just get better and better and better. And this year they're doing, regardless of whether they're in 4th or 2nd or whatever it may be, they're a strong team, and they got the firepower, and I think they've shown it. Like the players you just mentioned, they're all players with experience. And I put aside experience, they're all skilled players. So these are guys that we're all going to be attentive to, and make sure that we do our best and do our part to make it hell for them, basically, to make it difficult for them. I understand they came to us last year, this year, and the team put on a great show at home, and we kind of knocked it out of the park with that one, and it was a great result. But this is a championship now, and I think we all know that every game's different, and I think this series just showed it against Chihuahua. Every game is different, and they're gonna come out flying. I think they have just a lot to prove in the sense where we knocked them out last year, and we didn't just beat them by 1 or 2 this year. We beat them by like 6, 7 goals. And for them to be the number 2 team in the league and lose by that many goals, you didn't see any team beaten by that many goals actually. So they got something to prove, and so do we. We're the number 1 seed, and so we got to make sure that we play like that. And coming on Monday and coming the following Sunday on May 8th, I think that the guys are going to show up. It's not going to be easy, just like this last series against Chihuahua. It's not going to be easy, and I don't think any game ever is. But I think we're mentally and physically ready for this challenge, and we're excited for it. I mean, what better championship to have the number 1 seed and the number 2 seed in the championship? Not like Chihuahua wasn't deserving of, because it was a great series. But now you got the top 2 teams, and now we got to decide, okay, so who's going to take this on? And like I said, I think we're ready. I think we're ready, and we've been here in this position before, and we're excited for this.
Well, Felipe, we're excited too, man, obviously. And I'll be on the trip with you guys out to Florida. So I look forward to our visit to one of listen, I would have been there the whole time. There's this whole COVID thing, that there was a budget thing, $1,000 plane tickets. There's been some, let's call it mitigating circumstances. There's been some circumstances. But
you're going to be there when it matters, so it's okay.
That's exactly right, my friend. So I will be seeing you very bright and early at Lindbergh Field on Saturday. But before that, of course, out on the training floor tomorrow at Bradley Park in San Marcos. Thank you so much. There's the semifinals. What? Semifinals is where Felipe Gonzalez goes through. That's what I see now.
Yes,
we used to talk about it. It's all over now. 2 years in a row. It's your home.
It's another hump that Phil and I were actually speaking about on Sunday before the game. He said, "All right, Felipe, we got past 1 year already. Let's do whatever you did last year, do it again this year, so we can get over that little hump of you not going past the semifinals." So, hey, we're in the championship, and let's make it count. Let's make it count.
Let's go,
all right, brother. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you on behalf of all the Sockers fans for your time here tonight.
Thank you, Jeremy. You guys have a good night, and thank you for having me.
Felipe Gonzalez.
Man, dude. Can I just say, like, when he said, what better final than the first seed and second seed? Like, that's true. I hadn't, like, I knew it, but it hadn't really registered until that point. It's like, what more can fans hope for? I mean, these are the 2 best teams in the league facing off. And again, I mean, everybody said it, maybe Chihuahua was like an early championship look. Like, this is what a lot of people thought the championship would look like. Yeah. But man, like, this is going to be a fun game. And they're going to come in, with something to prove, as he mentioned. And also as Christian mentioned, I think they know it, and we're ready. I mean, mentally, this team has been ready since, the beginning of the season. They're really bringing that mentality over from last season.
And I'm really glad to hear both Christian and Felipe say that tonight, because I think it's one of those things that you kind of file in the back of your head. You say, a lot of people were talking, oh, San Diego, Chihuahua, that's the final. And, Florida hears that too. They hear people saying, oh, the other semifinal's the actual final. And, I've been on the other side of that, where you were in the weaker semifinal, so to speak. And it sucks. You win and you're like, oh, we're the stepchild. We're destined to lose. No, Florida's going to get a chance at home to do something that they didn't get to do last year. Last year, they were the number 1 seed, and they didn't play at home. They played those games in Kansas City against San Diego. And those were, it was an overtime game, and it was a 1-goal game. It was 2 incredibly hard-fought games that I believe were both 4-3 the final score of those matches. And of course, Florida last year had Ian Bennett in addition to everything else on their team. But the thing they didn't have was the chance to play at the RP Funding Center against the Sockers. The one time that the Sockers went to see this version of the Tropics, this Clay Roberts, coach Tropics team, that was early 2020, right before COVID hit. They lost 8-3, and they got run off the floor pretty good down in Florida. It was one of the most lopsided losses of the last several years. And there's a real atmosphere there. They've got the kooky PA announcer that I think I've said in previous years how much I hate him, and I just absolutely can't stand. I mean, I'm sure he's an incredible dude. I heard him say his name. His name's Brandon. I'm going to introduce myself before the match on Monday and go like, I'm going to unplug your mic, buddy.
Wow, it's violent. Coming in hot over here.
Tropics fans, we're in striking distance. Somebody scream. You hear that 15 times a game. It drives me absolutely nuts. But anyways. No, actually, I give him credit. That dude is working by himself. The Tropics they have a couple people who come from their outdoor team and bang a drum, but they don't have the supporter energy that the San Diego Sockers have. They need a PA announcer to constantly be yelling at the crowd to be in the game, and I think, I know it sounds arrogant to sound that, but that's what we've been working on developing, right, Jerry, is a situation where you don't need a PA announcer in San Diego to be going, hey, everyone, there's a game going on. Make sure that you cheer now, and in a lot of markets, they need that. So anyways, that's a 10-30 session. I'm going to be I'm putting in specific for that.
We just lost a bunch of lost a bunch of watchers here on Twitch, probably Tropics fans. Sorry, everybody. Anybody that's here from any other team as well, welcome in. We appreciate you, being here with us on Tuesday and sharing your time with us. We really do appreciate all of you.
Absolutely. I'm just checking
regardless of the.
Just checking the chat to see if there was anyone like, you're wrong. I'm Brandon, the PA announcer, and I do a great job. He does do a great job. It's just not my cup of tea. That's all. It's just not my cup of tea. Okay, so that's hey, new turf. And I see folks talking about that in the chat as well.
Yeah.
The Tropics got brand new turf. On one side, I want to say felicidades to the Tropics because their previous turf was the worst eyesore in the Major Arena Soccer League, the repatriated indoor football turf with the 25-yard line and the 20-yard line and the 15-yard line and those faded lines. And I know as a point of fact that old turf was so old that it was graying and browning. And so they would spray paint it green in between games to keep the brightness of the field. And I knew that because we would then bring a yellow ball onto the turf and it would turn green in warm-ups.
Oh gosh.
as the paint came off on it. So it's great that the Tropics have new turf. As I see Toy Runner talking about in the chat as well, there was a lot of talk on the broadcast about that turf because it does appear that the turf is kind of not broken in. That, I know their announcer, Brian Ackley, was describing it as the bristles being firm. And it's slowing down the ball. In other words, the ball it's kind of like a high, the grass being grown higher on the green. The ball's going to roll a little slower right now in Florida than it is otherwise. I see what you're laughing about.
I thought we were over it, but no, here they come. John had to do it.
Oh, Paul. Savage will never live it down. Savage will never live it down.
Look, I'm losing it because I was there when this happened. It's hilarious. My goodness. This is yeah.
Let me just bottom line on the field.
Congratulations to Florida.
Yeah, congratulations. They have the field. Thank you for not spray painting your field green anymore. We truly appreciate you not spray painting your field green. Like, I was afraid to walk on the turf. I'm like, are the bottoms of my shoes going to become green now? Am I the green goblin? But also, if anything, just talking to our Sockers audience here, if anything, this new field, folks, it's going to help the Sockers. Because a game that slows down and is more defensive, that only helps San Diego. San Diego's the best defensive team. So anything that slows the game down, that's better for San Diego. Just period, end of story. So, I'm not worried about that aspect of the match. If anything, I think Florida could be worried about that. But hey, the balls will remain yellow and grippy.
No slipperiness.
Monday, 4 p.m., RP Funding Center in Lakeland, Florida. Little trivia question, or trivia, not question, but a little trivia point. I mentioned it on the broadcast. It was a different name for the arena at the time, but the RP Funding Center was the site of the Sockers' first championship. 1981-82, Game 2 of the best of 3 NASL Championship Series was played between the Sockers and the Tampa Bay Rowdies. The Tampa Bay Rowdies, featuring a rookie named Tattoo, who would go on to be one of the greatest players, of course, for Dallas Sidekicks in the history of the sport. And the Sockers won Game 1 at home, and then they went to Lakeland and they won Game 2 10-5. And they took that first championship. So 40 years later, the Sockers will play in the same arena trying to win a 16th championship, which is just a really cool note. And also, and by the way, I was looking at this, Jerry, because we are flying into Tampa, the Sockers are, on Saturday. We're going to get there about 6 o'clock Eastern time. And one of the first thoughts I had was, I wonder how far the airport is to wherever Tampa Bay Rowdies play, because the Tampa Bay Rowdies franchise still exists. It's a top franchise in USL Championship in Division II outdoor soccer. And it just so happens that our local 11, San Diego Loyal, are playing Tampa Bay Rowdies Saturday night in Tampa Bay. Hey. So it's one of those, like, I wonder, could I find a way to sneak out and check out our boys with the Loyal on Saturday night? We've got a little San Diego versus Florida soccer invasion over a 48-hour period in the Sunshine State. Are they ready for us for all this San Diego action?
Wow, I didn't even think about that. That is amazing. What did you find? Was it a possibility? Like, is it actually realistic?
I mean, it's highly unrealistic. This is what it is, Jerry. I could do it if I was going to be a total asshole, and like the whole team arrives at the airport in Tampa, and they're getting their rental cars, and I'm like, by the way, I'm going to take an Uber, and I'll see you guys in Lakeland in about 5 hours from now. I'm going to go check out a USL Championship soccer match. So I'm not saying I'm not going to do that. I might just be an asshole. I mean, who knows? But probably I'll stick with the team. I mean,
Okay. All right.
ESPN Plus is there for a reason. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Joe had 29 stream, right? Just
that's true.
We can do that. We can stream it. Okay. Let's talk, because I also saw that Loyal are having a watch party. That's true. Well, so are the Sockers for match 1. Let's talk about this. Let's set the stage now. Okay. Match 1, Monday, May 2nd, 4 o'clock. Oh, here we go. Hi. May 2nd, 4 o'clock. And we will be back at the Calafina Lounge. We had such a great time at the Calafina Lounge with the Milwaukee Wave. I should move the microphone so you can hear me. We had such a great time now it's falling over, at the Calafina Lounge. And we'll have pizza. We'll have salad. I can't say anything else, but the people who were there know what's what. And we'll all be together Monday at 4 o'clock. So, hey, get off work a little bit early. If you're up in North County, come by 3238 Greyhawk Court. It's an incredible, incredible venue. You could play a little shuffleboard while you're watching. You play a little pool. You could use the golf simulator. It's an incredible place to supplement Calafina Lounge. And that will be our finals watch party for match 1. Monday, May 2nd, 4 o'clock. I dip back under. Jerry dips back out. For our match 1 of the 2022 Ron Newman Cup Finals. Brian Ackley and the Florida folks will have that broadcast. And stay tuned. The MASL will actually have some, or they are planning to have some interesting announcements about ways that if you are not at your computer, that you can follow the game, both game 1 and game 2 of the Ron Newman Cup Finals. Maybe if you're in your car. So stay tuned for that. I'm not going to break that news because that's league news and they could actually get mad at me, as opposed to team news. Usually I break some team news during these broadcasts because I know I'm the one that reports to me. So watch party, new turf. Okay, Jerry, let's get to match 2.
Okay.
This is the grand final. This is where it'll be decided. The end of the season is May 8th, Mother's Day, 5 p.m., Pechanga Arena. Match 2, Sockers and Tropics. Match 3 to follow if necessary. Tickets are on sale now. All tickets are on sale now. So you can go to sdsockers.com/tickets and get your tickets right now. You can call 866-799-GOAL. You'll be interrupting Ezra. Ezra's watching the broadcast right now if this is a normal night for her. But you can give her a call. You know, she's not too busy. And we will have, you can get your tickets for the Sockers and Tropics. All sections are open. We are ready for business. It is Mother's Day, Jerry. It just so happened the grand final night is going to fall on Mother's Day. So we have a special deal for the game, and we're calling it a Bring Your Mom BOGO deal for the Sockers and Tropics and for the grand final. Our Loge tickets for the championship, for the Ron Newman Cup final, $40, a very reasonable price for a championship game. However, bring your mom out to the game, or anyone else. It's a BOGO, okay? But bring your mom out to the game, and we are doing a buy one, get one free deal for all our BOGO seats. So that means you can get 2 for $40. Keep in mind, GA seats are $20. So for the same price as 2 GA seats, you can get 2 Loge seats, the better seats, the seats in the middle, the best seats in the house, to come see the biggest game of the year, the grand final, the Sockers and the Tropics. So I'm calling it the Bring Your Mom's BOGO deal for the Loge section. Bring out moms.
Yes. Oh, and you know what I was going to say too for the watch party, just real quick to go back on that, and I apologize that I'm bringing it back, but you should be there because you're going to be there, right, Craig?
I'm going to be in Florida.
Oh, but you know who is going to be there?
Who's going to be there?
I'm going to be there. Come say hi. So
see Jerry.
Come say hi to me. He won't. Craig is going to be in Florida, but you can hang out with me.
I'll be in Florida.
I'll be there.
I'll be you in Florida. I'm going to be running the social.
Yes.
I'm going to be building the IG story. I'm going to be shooting that behind the scenes, locker room footage, tunnel footage. I'm going to be getting you all of the dirt, all of the stuff. I'll be giving you daily reports, Saturday and Sunday and Monday morning. I'll be bringing it all to you, mass content, all the content. I'll say this without spilling the beans. I had an opportunity presented to me to do something that would have really fit my skill set and been super helpful to the league on Monday. And we said, no, I'm there for our fans. I'm not there for the MASL. I'm there for the Sockers. I'm there for our Instagram account, essentially, and the rest of it. And as such, that's what I fun to be doing on Monday at RP Funding Center. But y'all will be at the watch party, and I can't wait. And then we'll be coming back Tuesday. So let's just say that we're going to set Sockers Overtime episode 26, the playoff pep rally episode, for Wednesday at 5:00 at 3 Punk Ales. We will be live at 3 Punk Ales. Jerry and I will be down. We're going to have the, put some South in our mouth, courtesy of our friends at 3 Punk Ales, the rulers of the South Bay on 3rd Street in Chula Vista, at the tasting room. We were there for our 100th episode. We were there for the first episode of the season, and we will be back for the playoff pep rally. We invite our Chavos and Brujos who are down there in the South Bay to join us. We invite anybody who wants to come out and get some great beer to join us right there at 3 Punk next Wednesday. So 8 days from now, again, 1 day later than normal, that's when we will have episode 26. And that, I think, I got one more thing. We have a great groups price for the final, for the grand final, and it's $17. So it's less than the price of a GA ticket for you to get your group of 15 or more together for a chance to come on out for the grand final, for the championship night, and be a part of the Parade of Champions. We're extending that Parade of Champions, that pregame benefit, being down on the floor, being part of the warm-ups to those groups. So get your groups together. SDSoccers.com/groups. Just go ahead and call Ezra, call Spencer, 866-799-4625, 866-799-GOAL. Get your group together. $17 for a championship as a group price. Absolutely incredible deal to come to what? It's the final. This is the only game where, like, we had a meeting the other day, Jerry, in the office. Well, do we need to do this? Do we need to? I'm like, it's the championship. If anyone wants to come, they want to come to the championship. This is the game. So
is it.
Let's go. Let's get it all out there. Let's see. Will there be a parade? EC Money, stay tuned, right? The city is not going to throw a parade for the Soccers, but maybe we'll drive down Eagle Drive to the Calafino Lounge. From Toy Runner, Craig, how's your sleep in? Bleeping amazing the last couple days, Toy Runner. Thanks for asking. Can I tell you the truth? I have to take my son back to school now in the mornings. He was on break last week. I'm getting up at 5 minutes to 6 every day. So it's not been as long as I'd like it to be, but it's been great. It's been great. Incredible. Oh, and that's a great call. And Marlisha says, can we update the schedule on Twitch? We will do that, Marlisha. Thank you so much. That way that everyone knows that we will be here on Wednesday. Okay, that's going to wrap tonight's show. What an exciting show. These are the shows you love to do, Jerry. We're celebrating, man. We're in the finals. We're back where this club. Could you imagine if we hadn't? Like, I can't even imagine. No. This is what this club was built to do. We're built different. We're built to be here.
Craig, never even crossed my mind.
Couldn't be.
No,
it's got to be here. Got to be here.
So excited. Oh my God, we have such a busy week ahead and weeks ahead, sir.
Incredible, man. 2 more weeks to the season. We are playing this all the way out to the final hole, and that is exactly where you want to be, in the last game on the final hole, ready to lift that cup one more time. Hey, everybody who is here, we had a great audience, one of our biggest live audiences ever for Soccers Overtime. Thank you so much for your time and for you.
I don't make eye contact because I'm paying attention to my screen, which is to my left. Sorry, Kelsey.
Oh, it's so funny.
I love all of you, though. I promise. And I'm looking at your comments, and that's why I'm looking that way. I'm actually looking at you without looking at you. It's the magic that we create here on Twitch.
Incredible stuff. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to everybody who's listening on the podcast. Thanks to everybody who's made it to the end. Hey, if you've made it to the end of the YouTube video, hey, give us that like. Smash that like button, as they say, as the kids say. It only helps. All right. We will be back with you. Follow us at San Diego Soccers on all our social channels as we get ready for game 1 of the finals. I'll be out in Florida. Please wish me well as I travel to a foreign country, the Sunshine State of Florida.
Foreign country? Oh, man.
Yikes.
Yikes.
First Mexico, now Florida.
What is happening?
What's next? And then we will be right back here on Wednesday to wrap it up and to pep rally for the grand final. Until then, for Jerry Jimenez, I'm Craig Elston. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Go Soccers!